Hi guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. Yes, I bet people are tuning in for good and bad reasons. We're not going to have a major inquest. That was done last night. But I'm joined by Notch from the paddock, who does brilliant predictions, and of course, Mr. B. And we're talking about the takeover, some transfer rumours, and the influence of pundits. Good evening. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. We're back after the weekend. We beat Leicester, we beat Barcelona, then we won the Cup final, and then we beat West Ham as well in the FA Cup, and things are looking up, and a lot of us were confident. I do little prediction videos for the paddock as well, going in, and I said 2-1 to Man United. We can go there, get a win, but everyone knows what happened. Mr. B, what a day yesterday. How are you feeling, Mr. B, after that morning?
I've come out of my cave. I've never had so much abuse on my WhatsApp. Even when we lost to Arsenal, I've never had anything like that. I watched the game with my Liverpool supporting younger brother, and it's the first time in 51 years that I actually wanted to punch him in his. He cheered every single goal. He didn't even sit down and, after the fifth one, just goal. He was up and he was in my face. So yeah, I gave him his lift home, hoping that maybe he would have fallen down the stairs and broken his back, but he didn't. So I'll just have to accept it. But yeah, yesterday was very, very painful, man.
By the way, do you want to shout out to your brother Stoney, because he scored? He's back playing football again for your Saturday side, and by all accounts, he's a midfield dynamo.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah, brilliant.
He's a
I didn't know that. I didn't know. We need to arrange a friendly very soon. And big shout out to Notch. How you doing, Notch? Now, let me just say this. We do videos, prediction videos for the Stretford Paddock. And Notch, you just surpass everyone with your editing, your skills, the performance. It's just outstanding. 2 questions for you. One, how long does it take to set up your videos, which is only 30 seconds or a minute? And 2, what did you predict for Sunday?
Well, I'll go to 2. I predicted a sneaky 1-0 win. But, I got a couple of predictions right more recently. So I was not quietly confident in so much as, we're United and then look at how we're doing and Liverpool are struggling this season. It was more kind of, this is going to be difficult. But if we play it right, if we actually match them, then we can get something out of the games, which we've been doing for so long. Wasn't really quite the case, was it? As for me doing videos, I just like to have a laugh, and Paddock have been very, very encouraging to their viewers to get involved in all the kind of things that they do. They would say, send in your pictures, send in things that you've been eating and drinking, and then now start doing prediction videos. That's been going for a couple of years, and I just thought, why not? When I started, they were just very, very perfunctory, but eventually I just thought, I've got ideas started coming to my head. And I remember there was one time I started singing. It was a prediction. I think it was Villa or something. And for some reason I had that hit song, I've Got a Feeling, in my head. And I just went, I got a feeling that tonight's going to be 4-1. And I don't know, people just started laughing, and I just thought, well, what the hell is this? And I thought, well, okay.
You know what, Notch? What I do love about your thing, when you sing out na 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 na. Well, who does that song again?
Simple Minds.
Simple Minds, of course.
Simple Minds did it, and it became the theme tune for the Sky coverage of football. So, I just took it from that. Everybody's going to know. Everybody knows when you say Barclays, everyone's going to know what that is.
Yeah.
And that was synonymous with Sky's intros at the time. So I thought, it's just, they're all little ideas that come to me. People are going to relate to what the ideas that I put out there. Can't do anything just silly. So I don't know. They just come to me, and I think, why not just perform on them?
Guys, I suggest every watch along on the Stretford Paddock. If you're not watching our watch along, go watch out. Go and check theirs out. It's going to be brilliant. Just going to go through a few comments here. Eddie Football Waffle, go and check out his channel. Saying, hit the like button for the Man United Agenda. Can't wait for Qatari cash, he's saying here. Stuart Marshall, still in disbelief after the essay. Did it really happen? It certainly did. Certainly did, Stuart. I'm sorry. Bill Badger saying good evening to all the people on the show. I hope everyone is cool. We are. Thanks, Bill Badger. Hope you're doing well. Bilal as well. Scholes, he cares about the club. He's saying here. Jumping the gun. We will come on to that. Helen Wills, how you doing, man? It's an evening, guys. Trying to stay alive. But unlike the Scouts, we have won a cup and we're still up for it. 2 more. This is the kind of thing we've been experiencing. We're trying to counter their argument. We've been getting pelters all days and things like that. We've won a cup, you haven't, you know. It still doesn't make me feel any better. Welcome to the Notch, and says Pat Lawless from the Man United Agenda. Evening lads from Box as well. We've got big up fellas from Column. Go and check out his show earlier. Glenn James, who's got the mugs, the Man United Agenda mugs with your favourite player on there. Mine's Maguire. Michael Hill saying, I think Notch has won the beard off. Put your votes in, guys. I'm getting there.
We all reach a certain age, and then we've got to go. No, this is going now. We can do it. We can pull it off when you get older.
And some people say, I'm not here. I'm here, but I'm not sure why. Yes, he must be in hiding as well. It's Christmas. I think that's a reference to Santa Claus. You there, Notch. Glenn saying any luck with that mug? Talk to Pat. Obviously, sending out mugs. I want to say hi to Andy Tate. He's saying is Uncle Albert. Yes, that's a good one. Only Fools and Horses, Uncle Albert. We got Bath Time saying no show tonight at 10 p.m. Okay. And Juan Santa. Yes, that's from Bath Time. That's me in 30 years. Yes. You get some good greetings here. Vaughan, I don't blame you. And good evening. Still recovering from yesterday, MUFC. And finally, all the way from Ireland, Robbie Norman saying brush it off and move on and roll on till Thursday. That's our next match, of course. All right. Notch, I'm going to start with you. What did you do today? Do you work? Do you work around colleagues? Do you have to defend yourself? Were you getting pelters? What's your...
I'm in a very, very privileged position. I lived in London for years, and then I moved to Ramsgate, and I managed to get a decent price on the house I bought. At the moment, I don't have work, but I have a house in Ramsgate. So at the moment, I do have a lot of free time. So I'll be getting used to living down here more than anything else. At the moment, I don't have many people around me that are going to completely destroy me on my WhatsApp.
What about you, Mr. B? I mean, you've been getting pelters today. I mean, you've been doing your driving job and on the phone, WhatsApp calls, Twitter. What's been going on? How have you been dealing with all this abuse?
I've ignored quite a bit. I'll deal with it. I can't. It's still a bit touchy. So I don't want to lose my friends. They know what I'm like. They know why I haven't answered the phone and I haven't answered their WhatsApp message. So before the end of the week, we will be in contact. It's all love, but right now, I can't deal with it. I
mean, we're all old boys, and me personally, I've never experienced anything like that. We went to Old Trafford last year, didn't we, Mr. B, for the Liverpool game, and that was 5-0, and we were just like shell shocked. But this is even worse. I mean, 6 goals in the second half. What is going on? I mean, can we just quickly summarize? We've gone over this, I mean, yesterday and this morning, non-stop, but Notch, what's your summary? I mean, what's gone wrong there yesterday that made us lose? Like I said, I built it up. We beat Leicester, we beat Barcelona, we won the cup final, we beat West Ham. We're on up, we're looking good, and then suddenly this happens.
We've a lot of people have wanted to put particular caveats onto all of this and particular points about it, and there's a lot of points being made. But what really happened yesterday was a summary of all the different points. They were all pertinent as to why we lost 7-0. It wasn't one particular thing. You know, I could point to, you can point to the fact that Liverpool were really up for it. Liverpool were putting one extra man in midfield. They were putting pressure on, they're winning all the first to second balls. They were going back to that heavy metal football that they were doing 2 years ago. Really, really soured their stall tactically and physically to get the better of United. As you'd expect, everyone tries their best against United, and Liverpool away, that's going to happen. So there's always that side of it. We seem to be slightly more, there's the element of fatigue. There's the element of having played all those games and still having to keep playing all these games. There's the fact that Casemiro took a knock and that seemed to be really affected. There's the fact that Anthony wasn't really on the game, because there was a couple of things about the game that swung it Liverpool's way that could have been prevented. It was more to do with the fact that the reason why we really lost the game rather than actually the 7-0. Nothing was responsible for the full 7-goal massacre. But I didn't like the way Ten Hag prepared the lineup, in that there's one thing you do when you play Liverpool, especially over the last few years, is that, one major factor that other teams will do is you will look for the weaknesses in their team.
Yeah.
Liverpool's team have a major weakness at right back, where they have a player who a lot of people do not rate defensively. He's great going forward. We obviously proven that over the years, but defensively, if you target that and keep him back, peg him back, stop him from having all that freedom down that side, you have a massive advantage. Manchester United have 3 players capable of doing that. Marcus Rashford have been doing it for years and has proven it against Trent many times. Jadon Sancho is capable of doing it down that side. And we've got a youngster in Garnacho, and I don't want to place too much on the putting pressure on an 18-year-old to come on and perform miracles. But Garnacho, as soon as he came on, we saw it from him himself. Was direct as he always is, was pushing Trent back, was taking him on. So you had 3 options there. Why did Ten Hag decide to give Bruno Fernandes his debut for United playing on the left attack?
Thank you.
Why?
Oh my God.
Mr. B, answer that question. Why? What's going on here?
Yeah, I have no idea. I actually think he went all Pep. I think he went totally Pep on it, because even playing Rashford over the top, what the strength is, Van Dijk and whoever the other centre-back was, he started as the number 10. Normally he starts them in their position and then moves them as the game goes on. It was weird. I agree totally with Notch there. It made no sense to me. But I can't be questioning Ten Hag. But the decisions didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
It's one of the... Sorry, go on.
No, I agree. You made a good point. I really didn't think about that. When we see the front 4, we see Weghorst think, all right, he's going to be stuck against pinning down the centre back or something like that, and Rashford would be coming off the left. But Rashford was playing down the middle. Weghorst was playing in a deeper role, which is kind of a defensive role. And then we got Bruno and guys haven't really got the pace to get in behind in wide positions when, like you said, that is the weakness, getting in behind that space that's created with Trent going forward and supporting Salah. Salah done. I must admit, I was expecting Salah not to do the work to track back, but he did put it in yesterday. But I think that's a key point as well. But I don't want to criticise the manager. You're not criticising the manager, then, not are you?
No, of course not. Look, how can you criticise a guy who's got so many things right since he took over? This is a small blip. It's something that it was an oversight for me, but every manager's had about, oh my God, Fergie. How many times, the amount of times I saw Fergie over the years make weird decisions as well. And we know, if you look at if you read Fergie's autobiography, if you read Paddy Evra's one, you hear all these stories that Fergie would leave players out of the team because they had an argument. Fergie would leave players out of the team because it's like, you were bad last week, whatever, when they would actually be the perfect fit for that game that he was left out of. So that happens. There's always little nuances and caveats, but in this case, I just thought this was a bit obvious. This was the perfect way to attack Liverpool, because we know that's a weakness. It's not the reason we lost 7-0, but it was also a missed opportunity, especially in the first half.
Totally agree. So here we are. I mean, we love talking football. Everyone likes to talk football. But someone who likes to talk football and has got a lot of responsibility, because he's got a lot of power and he's got a big voice, is Gary Neville. And there's a lot of comments that come out since the game. And obviously, directly after the game, he's expected, which is a lot of pressure on him, to give his view on what he's just seen. And you get emotional. After the game, I was nearly in tears, to be honest. It's a good job he didn't check me out, And here we are, we're discussing the game, and we're trying to analyse things, what went wrong, that kind of thing. But there's a few things that Gary Neville and Paul Scholes have said. I'm just going to put up this little caption here. We've got Paul Scholes talking about the game. So let's just read this out. So Scholes saying, Wout, meaning Wout, not at the level to play for the club after the Liverpool loss. So Paul Scholes has told Premier League Productions, you're talking about a Manchester United number 10 or a centre forward. He's in the team to be defensive. He's the one who runs about and rats about, and everyone likes playing with him because he does that. He's but quality-wise, as well, you've got to have that certain level of quality play for Man United. It's not there, so he's saying he's lacking the quality. Look, I don't want to be disrespectful. He said, I don't want to be disrespectful to the team because they've been great. They've just won a trophy. I keep saying the word freakish. That is the really freakish day. It's freakish day today. I think they've experienced the character in the team to recover from this. So he's saying there's character in the team to recover. I think there won't be many players who have had beatings like this, most certainly. But somehow they're going to have to respond. I think on Thursday night, he will freshen up. There's a decent-sized squad now, and he's got a bit of confidence about them. They'll be looking at that, thinking, I should be playing, and that they should be staking a claim for the place. So he's talking about the squad depth here. He's talking about Weghorst not being of the quality maybe for Manchester United Football Club, but he's there at the moment. He's doing a defensive job. He's not really scoring many goals. I heard Jay Motti as well saying he's only scored a few goals and being a bit critical of his his goal contribution. But do you see anything that Weghorst is doing good since he's come in? Because when we really analyse, I thought the hard work he puts in, he holds up the ball well, he links up the play, but there's a lot of negatives there. A lot of people say he's too slow, he's not scoring goals. Mr. B, what's your thoughts on Weghorst and Scholes' comments in general?
I said it when he came. He was a system player. He bought a player. Well, we got a player in on loan because we didn't have any money to get anybody. So he was the best. I think he was the best option that we could have got. There was a reason why he played for Burnley, and there was a reason why he went to Besiktas. His goal output isn't great, but what he does, he will run around for days, and that's obviously what Ten Hag feels that maybe he needed or he needs for this part of his team. Let's be honest, Ten Hag's system hasn't even been fully implemented with our team. We've got a goalie who we can't trust to pass the ball out. He doesn't have that central midfielder that can break the lines, and he doesn't have the forward who can do the majority of the things that he wants to do. So he's still behind on the way he's putting his blueprint on the way that he wants the team to play. So the next transfer window will hopefully be better, and the one after that would hopefully be better. So I don't have an issue with Weghorst. I think he will definitely be temporary. And there's no chance that he's going to be signing. He will be signing the extension. I think he'll enjoy his Coca-Cola Cup medal. He'll enjoy the FA Cup medal that he will. I'm convinced that he will get, and that's a good 6 months' work, to be fair.
Yeah, certainly. Notch, what do you think about Paul Scholes' comments? They're not as ruthless as Gary Neville, but he did, like you say, the squad. He wants the squad to come into play now for the game on Thursday. He still thinks he's got faith in the confidence in the team, but he does pick out, like, especially the right back. He says we've got an issue there with Dalot. That wasn't read out, but that he also said that, and Weghorst as well. So, just your thoughts on his comments there, because Andy's saying Paul Scholes has been a bit disrespectful.
I don't know about disrespectful. I think Paul Scholes is trying to see the bigger picture. It's still an ongoing process, and it's very, very easy to forget that when you go back a few months, and it's only a few months, and we were the lowest anyone can ever remember us. The squad, loads of players were going. We needed a massive transfer window. So, and Ralph said last season, there's one of the things he got right was he said in press conferences, we need 2 or 3, 4 windows. And then it's 1 or 2 to actually become a little bit competitive again. But then if you're going to go all the way and to take United where we're supposed to be or where we should be, which is, competing for the league, competing for the Champions League, all the rest of it, then you need a good quality squad, and it needs to be fairly consistent in all positions. So it's an ongoing process. We managed to do really, really well last summer, and then in January the money dried up. I expected it to dry up because we spent so much in the summer, and we all know how this club works under the Glazers. So we had to get somebody in. We had no striker, we had Martial, and that was it. So who could we get? How many people are always available in the January transfer window? We get involved Weghorst. We know he's limited. We know there's some issues here. He's not possibly top level United standard, but he's got the right attitude. He does work hard. There were moments in the Liverpool game yesterday where he was really putting it into midfield and he was winning balls. He was getting involved. He was trying to win possession back, but we know he's limited on the ball. He's not going to be brilliant as a number 10. I personally think, going back to what I said about playing Bruno out wide, I think if we just kept Bruno where he's most effective in the 10 and have a very limited, but in his position, Weghorst up front, and have Rashford bombing past Trent Alexander-Arnold, to me, that was more of a tactic. But that's me. I'm not Eric Ten Hag. But I think what Scholes is alluding to is that there's a long way to go yet. I mean, one issue I saw, if we're going to talk about Dalot, one issue I saw yesterday is we've brought in Anthony. And Anthony was at times in that, not in the second half where they all fell apart, but in the first half, even before the goal, Anthony was very static. He wasn't helping Dalot out. He wasn't really showing a lot of chemistry with his own right back. He wasn't really getting involved. As soon as we lose possession, he would just stop, which meant that Dalot would have a bad game because Dalot would be forced to be pushed up far too much, far too often, leaving this huge gap for Liverpool and Andy Robertson to exploit behind him. So, everyone's going to point the finger at, Dalot was out of position. Well, Dalot was trying to compensate, and then you had Fred coming and trying to help out. We were pulled out each and out everywhere, but that, you can't, you've got to keep giving 100%. You've got to follow. I don't know. Somebody on Match of the Day was saying, was Anthony following instructions to stay up and be supportive further up? We don't know. But
I saw Mika Richards do a little graphic thing highlighting Anthony not doing the work, not getting back. But I think he's new to the side. We still got to give him time to settle in. And again, saying it, let's be fair, I'm sick of ex-players thinking they know the modern game. That's the comment which leads on to this here. The influence of Gary Neville and Paul Scholes. They made some comments here. I just want to touch on this because you mentioned Bruno as well. So I'm going to read out a few quotes. Mr. B is you as well. Bruno's saying here, Gary Neville's saying here, Bruno is stood in the centre with his arms up, refusing to say, why is it not me coming off? And now this was a bit of a discussion was going on after the game, saying he was demanded to come off. Take me out of here. This is too much, sort of thing, which turns out not to be true. But he said that after the game. And now on Twitter, fans are raging. They've said a lot of negative stuff about Bruno because of this, So Bruno's come out and said, no, that's not true. The managers, I think the club's come out and said it's not true. Maybe Gary Neville needs to do that as well. And he says on as well, Gary Neville says, honestly, I have to say some of his behaviour, to refer to Bruno, in the second half has been a disgrace. I've heard this from fans as well. So I sometimes think, is the influence that strong from these former players coming out that fans just follow suit and just repeat exactly what they're saying? They said, he's also saying, it wasn't a captain's performance by him. Bruno's body language today was disgraceful. So 2 disgraces. And Ten Hag, he's level-headed. He's come back and said, if you react with the fight, with the right measures as a manager and a team, you can learn from this. You can strengthen your mentality. So there's a sort of varying comments there. I mean, what do you think about Gary Neville's influence, Mr. B? Because I've heard...
I want Notch to answer this one first. I want to hear Notch's answer before.
Notch. What do you think about it? And remember, it's the influence of the media. Do you think he's got a responsibility here, post-game, to take a deep breath and really think what he said? Because he's trashed Bruno, because people start thinking Bruno's not captain, he wants to be taken off, which turns out not to be true.
We're all human, and we can all get caught up in the moment. We can all get caught up in the emotions of football, and that's not beyond the capabilities of ex-professional footballers either. If you think back to when we were all really young, I was taking a lot of influence of what a pundit or a co-commentator would say on TV, thinking, well, these guys have played the game. They know what's going on. I'm not, who am I to give to say any different? So young people are going to take as read a lot of the time what ex-professionals say and create and start narratives from it. And then suddenly a reputation happens and suddenly a player gets targeted. And, so Gary Neville, he didn't help matters by going a bit too emotional on that and really overreacting. but I'm hearing this from a lot of people. There's been a lot of pundits and people in the mainstream media who've been saying that Bruno Fernandes is too emotional. He's too he flaps his arms about and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, Bruno let things get to him in the second half. We all know that, you know. And at one point he gave up, but then by then a lot of the team had given up. He gets the brunt of it because everyone's expecting so much of him. He's the playmaker of the team, I guess. So it's a difficult one. But I mean, Gary Neville, because he's been there and because he's played under Fergie and because he's played in a team where there's a hell of a lot of emotions that happen in training and behind the scenes and out there on the football pitch where it's you're Manchester United, it's tantamount you win, you know. And maybe that's he was wearing his heart on his sleeve a bit too much. I don't know. But then I was more interested in the back and forth he had with Souness because that was just hilarious.
Yeah. Mr. B, take over there. What do you think about the influence of Gary Neville, for example? Because there's a backlash to that, isn't there?
He talks a lot of sense. Let's be honest, and he tries to be very, very neutral. Everybody knows Gary Neville loves Man United, but he tries to stay neutral. I think the neutrality totally left him yesterday, if that's a word. It totally left him yesterday. He was mad. The situation with Bruno divides the whole fan base. I think Bruno's great. I do. I think Bruno's great, but another man will see what I've seen and think Bruno's a disgrace. So my question or thing would be, people say Bruno shouldn't be captain or shouldn't be on-field captain. Who else could they have given it to? You needed somebody who was going to start. Ten Hag had just come in. He left it with Maguire, who a lot of the fan base, not all of them OMONDI, thought that, you know, the captaincy should be taken away from Maguire. It was given to somebody who started every game. You don't have a captain who's not on the pitch.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, next season it could be Casemiro. Does Casemiro speak enough English? By his performances on the pitch, that's great, but he would have to have the interview and be able to communicate with everybody. Varane would be the ideal captain, but is Varane going to play every game? Is he going to play enough games? So for me, Bruno is the right choice as captain for this season, rightly or wrongly.
What are the characteristics of being a captain for Manchester United Football Club? Are we sort of expecting to be a Roy Keane, Brian Robson? Because we've had people just raise the bar. I mean, and suddenly you've got a Portuguese guy coming in who does lead. I think he does lead by a good example. He does a lot of hard work for somebody so talented. But what are the characteristics? What would you like to see from your captain, Notch?
Being the captain in the football team is probably very similar to management. You know, you got to be level-headed. You got to see everything that's around you. You've got to be able to be the spokesperson to the referees and the officials, and you're responsible for 10 other people on the football pitch, in terms of making sure there's no disorder, making sure everyone's on the same page, making sure everyone is motivated. So, you know, it's a fine balance to be the perfect captain, and I don't think there's many perfect captains out there. I mean, just look at international football. It just depends who gets picked at the time, and there you go. You wear the armband this time, you know, on a lot of occasions. In terms of club level and United, yeah, there aren't many other options. I think Brian Robson was captain because he led by example. You know, Cantona led by hello, I've got collars. But you know, but look, you know, I'm just too good for everyone, you know. No, but it's everyone's got their own different personalities that they can lend to being a captain. I mean, Bruno's one is based on passion, but I do think he's got the mindset to want, you know, he said it himself. I think he wants everybody to improve. He wants everybody to be better. Whereas someone like Roy Keane was somebody who would just show less emotion about it, but probably want the same goals. Yeah. So it's, you know, I remember there's been many captains playing in Serie A in Italy. You know, in Italy it's very, very emotional as well. But Italy won 4 World Cups. Bruno is an emotional guy, but I don't think that should get in the way too much of the fact that he actually wants the best for the team and that he actually is out there trying to do the right thing. It just shows a hell of a lot. And so people have that perception, oh my God, he's way too, way too over the top.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, good point. I think it does show it on the pitch with his arms going up, and that's what people sort of relate to, don't they? Bilal saying, "Yeah, fans are very fickle for sure." Bill Badger saying, "Bruno's type of player, hated by opposition but adored by his own fans. If he was out injured, people would be crying for his return. Embrace him." He's saying. Andy saying here, some of Gary Neville's comments are disgraced. He should know who he supports, so Gary Neville should take his own medicine and get on with it. We got Rebel saying, Gary, bless his heart, didn't set the world alight at Valencia. We know what happened there. Boxer saying Bruno is 28, 29, a red miss and petulance need to be less now. He's maturing of age. Time to set an example to younger lads. MUFC saying, I don't think Gary Neville knew if Bruno wants to come off or not. He just commented on what he sees. Completely wrong about Bruno wants to come off. Yeah. Agree with that. I want to say hi to Vincent. Stuart Marshall saying Maguire, McTominay, Jones, Martial will all leave in the summer. Helen Wills is saying give it to Casemiro. We mentioned that because the language barrier. I don't know if that's important enough. Rebel saying most of the team, as it stands, speaks Portuguese though. Bilal again saying Rashford should be captain. Stuart Marshall saying Bruno is always a scapegoat, but he needs to stop throwing his toys out of the pram. And MUFC's here saying Bruno doesn't give the players the right motivation needed. Once again, sorry, here we go. Petulance from Bruno is detrimental to his game. Playing with too much emotion affects his technique and his ability, in his opinion. Yes, there you go. That's all the talk about the influence of all that. We're going to talk about the takeover now. I don't know what your thoughts are. Are you pleased? I mean, have you've seen the reaction from the time we were supposed to play Liverpool? The game got called off because they had a riot or they had a protest, didn't they? And since then, there's been developments, and now we're at the stage where the Glazers look like they're setting up. I'll just read out this little thing. We have a little discussion about what's going on, the latest update. So a broad agreement will be in place by the end of April, according to sources, to allow potential new owners to come in and have influence on decisions during the summer. So if by April, if we get new owners by then, that will help the manager, we can start rebuilding. The Rain Group, who are sort of helping out the Glazers sell, they've indicated they are still willing to accept a takeover by prioritizing offers to complete a full buyout. So the Rain Group the US-based Elliott Advisory Group. They were looking about taking a partial buyout, but now it's been sort of set that maybe it's going to be a full buyout. So any concerns about the Glazers still hanging around seems to be dashed in the bin for now. And the journalist, Fabrice Hawkins, claims that Sheikh Jassim is from Qatar group. He says they're in pole position now for takeover. So there's been ups and downs. Notch, coming to you again first. What are your feelings? I mean, coming from November when it's been announced that we could be selling the club, where are you at? I mean, with all this, how much sort of say did you talk about it much about, or do you talk more about the football side of things? And does it really make a difference to you?
I'm not sure how much it really does make a difference, to be honest. So it does in terms of the fact that the Glazers, the way they've been running the club is just, has run us into the ground in terms of the stadium, in terms of the recruitment, in terms of the people that they've employed in order to go about the day-to-day runnings of the club. So yeah, absolutely. We've seen everybody has been unhappy with what they've been doing. I remember when, going back when they were going to, when they were, buying the majority share and everything that happened then. I didn't really take part in anything, but I know that there were demonstrations and all the rest of it. There were demonstrations when Sky wanted to buy United. So it's no surprise that as we've seen over and over the years, that amount of money piling up, not just on the debt on the club, but the debt on transfers and all other aspects of it. And then seeing the fact that we could actually be we spent a lot of money, but not if you're just going to employ people that are just keeping the Glazers happy, because if their outset has always been, we want we don't give a shit about how much success United get so long as it's Champions League or top four. If anything else that has come along from that that has failed to achieve that simple goal rather than actually the full goal of United showing just why we are the biggest club or one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Yeah.
And you get the result from it. As soon as Jose Mourinho said something and made it public, his thoughts about the Glazers, bang, gone. Ralph Rangnick did it, bang, gone. LVG didn't do it, but didn't finish in the top four, bang, gone. Yeah. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, things went completely capitulated on the pitch eventually. And so, everything needed to change. And it also changed, you got to think of Ed Woodward in all of this as well, in terms of the running. So now that we've got to this stage where they've decided they're going to take the money and whatever, but they've still, without having put a single penny in the club, we're at that stage where football has been so overrun with being about money. Yeah. The Glazers are now holding out for ridiculous amounts because they know that there are people out there that will want to take over United and will, willing to pay ridiculous amounts for it. So it doesn't really matter who it is at this point anymore. Yeah. I don't think.
I mean, Mr. B, we've been covering this for a long time now. And what are your thoughts? I mean, when you hear in the news today that it could be that the main sale, they could sell 100% of the club it could be like Ratcliffe now, or this sheikh coming in. Does that inspire you after?
Let's be honest. Yeah. The best news is that they want to be 100% out.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got the soap opera with the siblings, but maybe that's just crap. Maybe it's just a deal that they've said, oh, you say you don't want, you say you do want, so that everything's not smooth and the price gets. At the end of the day, they spent F4 money, and now they should just settle for whatever they're going to get, but they're going to be greedy and they're going to push it as high as they can. So I think it's all a soap opera. I think they all want to get out, but they're saying that they want to stay. I mean, what do you want to stay in for? They get abuse every bloody day. All right, they make whatever they're making, but if they, whatever bonuses they were going, they would have to live for another 150 years for them to make the money. Take the money and go. Just take the money and F off.
They've literally never cared.
With Ratcliffe and the Qatari group, they've been flirting and with things. But can we make a judgment now? Who would you rather have in, based on what you've seen so far? You've got Ratcliffe, who seems to be British-based and seems to love Manchester United Football Club, and then you've got the riches of the Qatari group and what they've done at Man City, what they can do at Newcastle, PSG. There's finances there as well. So who would you guys rather take? Throw it out there.
I don't really care at this point, because the fact is, when people want to put caveats as to what is behind the ownership of the people who want to take over United, they all have skeletons in the closet. So the fact is, football was, if you like, in a way ruined 30 years ago when Sky took over. And the Premier League came over. That by that point, everything has only ever been about money. So regardless of, if you want to talk about things like the past of state ownership or whatever, and what goes on there, well, there's not, you look at what's behind Ineos, and it's really not much different. And you look at even when Elon Musk was supposedly gobbing out about wanting to take over, and you look at all the skeletons in his closet, and I'm like, this is a guy that apparently wants to start connecting human brains to AI in 2030. Who we want running United? So to me, it's at the point I don't get involved too much in talking about the machinations of owners and what's behind their state or what's behind their company, because at this point the only thing that's ever mattered to any of them is money. And you've got owners from Qatar who have a lot of money. You have Ineos who also have a lot of money. A lot of fans don't want them leveraging it on a debt. So I totally get that. But it really doesn't matter, but the Glazers themselves, people are worried about Qatar taking over. The Glazers have been doing business deals and sponsorship deals with Saudi for years. They're all partners and parts of major group shareholders that are part of United. So that makes no difference. It's already been like that. So for me, it just doesn't matter at this stage. The Glazers, everyone wants the Glazers gone, because because of things like the stadium, the facilities, everything else, all of that side of it. If whoever comes in is going to actually improve on that, then fine.
Okay. You share that those thoughts there, Mr. B? It doesn't matter.
100%. 100%. 100%. Just get them out. Let's get in. Let's get the summer started. Let's get our recruitment drive going.
Good stuff. MEFC saying Arsenal Liverpool fans are going in hard today. Yes, they're giving us a lot of abuse, that's for sure. Stuart Marshall said I had to delete a few scousers on social media. Doing my head in today. Delano, how you doing? Give him a wave. Delano Francis, how you doing, bro? Says let's not overreact and let's keep focused for the next one. The mentality from the fan base. Got Rebel saying it Glazers a poisonous influence on our club. That's the kind of feeling we've had from the comments in general. Stuart Marshall saying I wish I had spare 7 billion to spend. I'd put a bid in. And Vincent said I think the loss last night would affect the stock market of Manchester United, and this is why they will be willing to accept an offer now, and they're scared about the money. They're losing the profits, he feels. And the Saudis, get the Saudis in, said Stuart. The Qataris, please, says Bilal. And finally, Glazers out, which has been a major message, really, from Stuart here, from MEFC. And oil me up pronto, says Mean Mike, which definitely means he wants the Saudi, the Qataris in, sorry. Yeah, Olakunle, you're here. Liverpool fan saying, 9-0 last season, 8-2 this season. Man United are back, a bit of banter there. All right, we're going to move on. Just a bit of transfer minute news. The scouts have been out checking out Sesko, the tall young striker from the RB group. The rumours are that they went to watch him the other day. He scored a hat-trick in the last 10 minutes, which is magnificent. And we need a striker. I think definitely someone we need to buy. But do we need to buy a ready-made striker who's banging it already, or someone who's going to grow into the club, who's 21 years old and is going to improve? Because there's not many great strikers like that. Now, I think the selection, when we look at it, we've got Osimhen. People talk about Osimhen and the guy from Juventus, Vlahovic as well. What do you know much about Sesko? Notch. What's your thought on the player?
Yeah, not tons.
Rannick was around.
Well, I've only seen bits and pieces, so I can't comment too much. And I've not seen tons and tons of European football this season. So there's a lot of people out there that will know a lot more. There does seem to be a slight dearth at the moment. You know, I mean, you got people who will want Mbappe, but there's also, who knows? But there's Sesko. I've liked what I have seen. I've liked what I've seen of Vlahovic. I've liked what I've seen of Osimhen. So I think I just leave it down to the trust of Ten Hag as to who exactly would be best to suit his system. I think we all agree that Weghorst is not going to be the long-term answer, but maybe as a squad player, somebody that can fill in, and he seems to have the right attitude in which he would be happy with that. So it's a possibility we could keep him along, but if Sesko's the man, get him in. If
they're
he
saying
wants to
here
come.
about Benzema.
Want to come.
Benzema's a free transfer at the end of the season, and it's from Bill Badger. And funny one here from Bilal, talking about Drew Hill. Cisco is the guy who made the Fong song. Fong, Mr. B, you know that song, don't you? I've seen you on the dance floor. What are your thoughts about Cisco? Because obviously he's going from one Red Bull group, Salzburg, to the Germany Red Bull group, isn't he? So we can't even sign him this summer. I don't know why they're going to scout.
Yeah, this is. I said it's a strange. Unless he can be bought, there's no point in scouting him. To be fair, whoever we're scouting now, we need to get early in the summer, not in August when we're going to be playing in the charities the Community Shield,
the pre-season. Isn't it?
No, yeah, we need to get him in early. So I can't see it being him. To be fair, I just want to say it would be interesting to see if the transfers change, if the changes in regards to getting him early or getting him in late. Echoing again.
Yeah, so MEFC saying here, because we've had a lot of strikers, Zlatan, Cavani, Ronaldo. He's saying strikers need to be under 30 years old, no more pensioners. So ready to go. So 26, 27, 28 years old. So Osimhen's been talked about a lot. He's playing in a really good side at the moment. Napoli, they're really smashing it, aren't they? And they could go far in the Champions League as well. They're well ahead in Serie A. But that's the good side. He's playing in the good side. If you take him out of that and expect him to do the goods, perform in a side that's underperforming, it might not happen for him. They're talking about Vlahovic and Kane, Benzema again. Yeah, is that the number one position for you, Notch? Coming to transfer market, is that the position that you need to sort of prioritize, a striker position? Looking at
Absolutely, absolutely. I would like us to have three strikers, three positions. When it was when we were back in the days of Fergie, and the style in vogue was always more 4-4-2, two strikers, or 3-5-2, then you would want four, and United were always good with four.
Yeah.
Now that we usually just play one, I'd like to have at least three options. So you've got one who will be, if two of them competing for the top spot as the number one striker, and one that's always waiting in the wings, ready when we might even need to change tactics or change system, all that kind of thing. It would be great to have somebody that can fulfill a role, not just as a 9, but maybe as a wide player as well. So it depends. It depends who's capable of doing all of that, and who wants to come, and who's going to be happy to compete for a place in the team, rather than just knowing they're going to come in and bang, they're going to be the number one guy. So yeah, I think Osimhen is a very, very good striker. I think Šeško is very, very promising. But there's probably some others out there that we haven't even thought of. Probably people that Howson scouted.
Yeah. I like his scout reports. Really.
Yeah.
Ali Guma saying Martial and Weghorst out. Get them out of the club. Doesn't feel good enough. And here's a blast from the past. We need a York and Cole partnership back up front. I know Mr. B is getting. Look at Mr. B's face. He loves that. Yeah. If only. All right, we're gonna wrap it up very soon, guys. Just want to say appreciate all you guys in the comments. There's 21 of you watching right now. Do me a favor, press the like button for us if you don't mind. It really helps us out. We're going to say goodbye for now. We'll be back at 8:30 tomorrow. But before we do, just want to say big up to Notch. And don't forget, guys, go and check out all the live watch-alongs that the Stretford Paddock do. Go and check out Notch's predictions before the show. You see myself, you see Errol, and you're going to see Notch step it up a notch, as they say. So, Notch, where can we find you, bro? I really appreciate you coming on today.
I'm on YouTube. I've got my own channel, Santa Notch. I'm not like mega prolific on it, but I do put out videos occasionally talking about music or talking about food, or when I'm out and about or whatever. I don't really do football so much, because I think you've got so many great football fan channels already that do a much better job than I might do. So I just like to have a laugh with my videos. So go and check those out if you want. And I'm on Instagram as well.
So remind us again, the YouTube channel's called
Santa Notch.
Santa Notch. All right. No wonder you were rolling with the Father Christmas vibes early in the show. Then the comments coming through. Nice one.
Appreciate it all.
What time tomorrow? And 8:30 tomorrow. That's right. And we've got Thursday.
Are we
show coming up as well? No.
Yeah, we've got. Are we at 7 tomorrow? Look, guys, look. Hit your notification bell, because we may well be on at 7 tomorrow. Champions League's on tomorrow, isn't it? So we may be on at 7 tomorrow.
Okay.
We might be on. Hey, look, hit your notification bell. We will be on. We'll have our preview show on. Oh, look, guys, hit your notification bell. You know what my memory's like. Yeah, we'll work it out. We'll work it out.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We've been the Man United Agenda. It's been Notch, Mr. B, myself, and OMONDI, and we'll be back tomorrow. God bless, guys. Bye-bye.